In the shadowed halls of an elementary school, a young boy's crushing shame in the free lunch line conceals a heart-wrenching secret, a humble janitor's silent, years-long kindness that fuels a billionaire's destiny, and a rainy day reunion overflowing with tears and redemption. In the hushed corridors of Washington Elementary, where the echo of a squeaky mop bucket mingled with the distant clatter of lunch trays, young Ethan Carter, a wide-eyed 10-year-old with tousled brown hair and patched-up jeans, felt the weight of the world pressing down on his slender shoulders. These weren't mere sounds to him. They were piercing reminders of his family's quiet desperation, the kind that whispered of empty cupboards and unpaid bills. Ethan, with his sharp mind for numbers and an unquenchable thirst for stories hidden in library books, carried a secret burden far heavier than his worn backpack, the sting of poverty that made every school day a battlefield of hidden shame. The lunch bell tolled like a somber knell, striking dread into Ethan's tender heart. It wasn't the hunger that gnawed at him, though that was real enough, but the soul-crushing humiliation that awaited in the cafeteria. As a free lunch recipient, he was forced to shuffle into a separate line, his cheeks burning under the gaze of classmates who seemed to have everything. The cafeteria worker, kind but oblivious, would scan her list, her voice a public proclamation of his need. "Ethan Carter, free lunch," she'd say, and in that moment, the whispers would ripple like waves of judgment. "Poor kid," they'd murmur, their eyes pitying or mocking, etching scars on his young spirit. Ethan would clutch his tray, head bowed, feeling smaller than the crumbs on the floor, invisible yet exposed, his dreams of fitting in shattered by the cruel divide of circumstance. But in the shadows of those bustling halls, one man saw him, not as a statistic, but as a fragile soul deserving of dignity. Mr. Elias Thompson, the school's steadfast janitor, with his weathered face etched by decades of quiet labor, kind hazel eyes that missed nothing, and hands calloused from endless mopping and fixing, had walked a similar path in his youth. Born into hardship during the lean years of the Great Depression, Mr. Thompson knew the hollow ache of want, the way it could erode a child's confidence like acid on stone. He observed Ethan's sagging shoulders, the way the boy's bright eyes dimmed in that line, and something stirred deep within him, a fierce, protective urge to shield this innocent from the world's harsh edges. In the quiet of his custodial closet, surrounded by brooms and buckets, he made a vow: Ethan would not face this alone. No child should bear such shame when a simple act could restore a flicker of hope. The very next day, as Ethan approached the counter, his heart pounding with familiar dread, the lunch lady's face softened into a warm, unexpected smile. "It's already taken care of, sweetheart," she said gently, waving him through to the regular line. Ethan froze, his small hands trembling on the tray. Confusion swirled in his mind like a storm. Who could have done this? Relief washed over him in waves, mingling with a fresh wave of embarrassment, but beneath it all, a tiny spark of wonder ignited. Was it a mistake? A miracle? He glanced around, searching for clues, but the cafeteria buzzed on, oblivious to his inner turmoil. That day, for the first time, he sat with his friends without the invisible barrier, his laughter tentative but genuine, as if a heavy chain had been lifted from his neck. Yet the mystery deepened. It wasn't a one-time fluke. Day after day, week after week, the words repeated, "Paid for, honey, go ahead." Ethan's confusion grew into a quiet suspense, a nagging question that haunted his thoughts during recess and homework hours. Who was this shadowy guardian angel? He scanned the faces of teachers, parents, even classmates, his young imagination weaving tales of secret benefactors. At night, in the dim light of his family's modest apartment, where the walls seemed to close in with worries, he'd whisper prayers of thanks, tears stinging his eyes, not from sadness now, but from a profound, heart-aching gratitude for this unseen kindness that wrapped around him like a warm blanket in the cold. Unbeknownst to Ethan, Mr. Thompson orchestrated this quiet revolution from the sidelines. Each morning, before the first bell, he'd slip an envelope of crumpled bills, scraped from his meager salary, to the cafeteria worker, his voice low and insistent. "For the Carter boy. No names, please." He never sought recognition, never lingered to witness the boy's relief. To him, it was a sacred duty, a way to mend the fractures of his own past by healing another's present. For 3 long years, through seasons of rain-slicked playgrounds and snow-dusted windows, this ritual continued. Ethan's grades soared, his confidence blossomed like a flower in unexpected sunlight. He dove into math competitions, devoured books on inventors and dreamers, his spirit buoyed by the knowledge that someone, somewhere, believed in him. Yet the enigma persisted, a suspenseful thread that tugged at his heart, making him wonder if he'd ever unravel the truth. Time, that relentless river, carried Ethan forward. He graduated with honors, his patched jeans replaced by crisp uniforms, and a full scholarship to a prestigious university beckoned like a beacon of promise. The boy who once hid in shadows emerged as a visionary, founding Apex Innovations, a tech empire that revolutionized sustainable energy solutions. By his mid-40s, Ethan Carter was a billionaire, his face gracing magazine covers, his name synonymous with innovation and philanthropy. Mansions, private jets, and boardrooms filled his days, but amid the opulence, a void lingered, a heartfelt longing to repay the debt of kindness that had altered his trajectory. Who was that mysterious savior from the cafeteria? The question, buried but never forgotten, resurfaced in quiet moments, bringing a lump to his throat and misty eyes as he recalled those pivotal days. Driven by an emotional urgency that bordered on obsession, Ethan hired private investigators, their searches spanning archives, school records, and faded memories. Weeks turned to months, suspense building like a gathering storm. Clues emerged in fragments, a retired cafeteria worker's vague recollection of anonymous payments, whispers from former staff about a janitor's quiet generosity. Ethan's heart raced with each lead, hope flickering, then dimming, tears of frustration welling as dead ends loomed. But perseverance, forged in his childhood trials, prevailed. One crisp autumn evening, a report landed on his desk. Elias Thompson, the humble janitor, now retired in a modest bungalow on the outskirts of town, tending a garden that bloomed with the same quiet resilience he embodied. The rainy afternoon, when Ethan arrived at Mr. Thompson's door, felt like destiny unfolding. Water cascaded from gray skis, mirroring the emotions swelling in Ethan's chest. He rang the bell, his suit sodden, his voice steady but laced with vulnerability. "Mr. Thompson, my name is Ethan Carter. I attended Washington Elementary many years ago." The door creaked open, revealing the elderly man, his eyes squinting through bifocals, a faint spark of recognition dawning. Ethan, the boy always lost in his books, dreaming big even then. Ethan's breath caught, a wave of nostalgia crashing over him. "And you, sir, with your mop and your watchful eyes, you saw more than anyone." They sat in the cozy living room, surrounded by faded photos and the scent of fresh earth from the garden. Ethan poured out his soul. "For 3 years, someone paid for my lunches. It lifted a shame I carried like chains. It gave me wings to fly. Investigators led me here to you." Mr. Thompson's hands trembled, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. "It was nothing, son, just a man helping a boy who reminded him of himself." But Ethan shook his head, his voice cracking with raw emotion. "It was everything. In those moments of despair, your kindness was my lifeline, a silent promise that I mattered. It shaped who I am. Every success, every act of giving back traces to you." Tears streamed down both faces now, the room thick with the weight of shared humanity. Mr. Thompson confessed his own dreams deferred, sketches of a woodworking shop, yellowed and forgotten in a drawer, visions of crafting heirlooms with his hands instead of scrubbing floors. Ethan's heart ached at the revelation. How had he known? In boyhood glimpses, he'd seen the janitor doodling during breaks, his face alight with passion. "I remembered," Ethan whispered, his voice hoarse. "And now I want to honor that." He unveiled his plan, a position at Apex Innovations as Director of Facilities, not a mere job, but a role of purpose, overseeing spaces where innovation thrived, where every employee felt seen and valued. "And we'll build that workshop you've dreamed of," Ethan added, his eyes shining. "A place for your hands to create beauty, just as you created hope for me." Mr. Thompson's breath hitched, disbelief mingling with joy, tears flowing freely as he clutched the sketches like long-lost treasures. "How can I ever?" he murmured, but Ethan embraced him, two souls connected across decades, the embrace a cathartic release of gratitude and forgiveness for time lost. Months later, Mr. Thompson strode the gleaming halls of Apex Innovations, clipboard in hand, greeted warmly by staff who revered him not as a former janitor, but as the company's quiet guardian. Laughter echoed where once only echoes of mops had sounded. Evenings found him in the custom woodworking shop, the air alive with the hum of saws and the sweet aroma of pine. He crafted exquisite pieces, tables for family gatherings, benches for weary souls, plaques inscribed with words of inspiration, each stroke a testament to dreams reborn. One twilight evening, as golden light filtered through the windows, Ethan leaned against a workbench, watching Mr. Thompson sand an intricate shelf. The older man paused, his voice soft yet profound. "I'm glad you didn't know back then, Ethan. If you had, gratitude might have turned to obligation, kindness to a debt repaid." Ethan nodded, his eyes misting once more. "And we wouldn't have this, building together full circle." In that sacred space, the echoes of a school cafeteria faded into harmony, a simple act of unseen love rippling outward, touching hearts, mending wounds, and proving that true kindness, given without strings, can echo eternally, bringing tears of joy to those who witness its magic. This tale of Ethan and Mr. Thompson isn't just a story, it's a reminder that in our busiest lives, a single gesture can ignite a lifetime of change. If it moved you, as it moves me every time I recount it, hit that like button, subscribe for more heart-stirring true inspirations, and share in the comments where you're watching from. Let's spread this ripple of kindness further.